start a project in PVSketch, create an account. First name, last name, email, and phone number. If you already have an account, you can log in. To start a project, select if you want a commercial or residential project. Enter your address or coordinates below. If you're working on a site that's new construction or you have your own imagery that you want to use, after this point you can additionally overlay your own image using this button in the top left, Insert Image. In the Project tab, we can see our address, project name, project type, as well as currency, language, and units of measurement. Once we've set our location for our project, we can draw our roof. We're going to use the drawing tools in the top left corner to do this, the line tool and circle tool. Selecting the line tool, trace your roof. If I select the G key, I'll get an additional 90-degree cursor that helps me line up my roof edges. I can also use the Command or Control key to limit my angles to 15-degree increments. Using the same tool, I can use the Q key to square up any objects I make for smaller obstructions. Finally, I can also use my circle tool to trace out any trees or on-roof obstructions that are circles. Once my site plan is drawn, in the Site tab, I can apply characteristics to each of my objects. For my roof, I have azimuth, roof slope, height, and setback. Additionally, for commercial buildings, we can set a parapet height, and by doing so, it generates a shadow path that you can see around the perimeter of your building. When I select an obstruction, I can additionally assign a height, and a shadow path will also be created for those obstructions. For off-roof obstructions, the tool is smart in that it can tell the height differential between your obstructions and your roof, and if your obstruction is on and off roof. We can see here if I have a really tall tree, it generates a partial shadow path. If my tree is shorter than my roof, that shadow path disappears. Finally, I can also copy and paste obstructions. Selecting my obstruction, in the top left I toggle copy and then paste, and I can duplicate obstructions across my project. To select equipment, go to the System tab. For mounting, we can always accurately define our racking configuration through advanced options. Here you'll specify row spacing, column spacing, and racking tilt. Additionally, we have specific manufacturer options from manufacturers that we've collaborated with directly. If you are to select one of these options, you'll see that those advanced inputs are pre-selected for you. For modules and inverters, we have an extensive database of all manufacturers and models. If you don't see what you're looking for, you can request it here. Once my equipment is selected, I can now generate a layout. Coming to the Generate Design button in the top right-hand corner of our design window, I can automatically fill all of my roof spaces. In the bottom left-hand corner, we get annual production through PV watts, system size, number of modules, and number of inverters. Once we've generated a layout, there's a few things we can do to change and modify our layout. I can select individual modules with my cursor. I can also use my multi-select tool to select multiple modules at once. Once my modules are selected, I can move them around with my cursor. I can delete them. And I can also rotate them. If I want to add extra modules in, I can select modules, copy, and paste those modules in. If I select modules and I hold the controller command key and then select an arrow in any given direction, I can automatically add in additional modules. What happens when your client changes their preferences about their layout, or maybe you're not sure what module you want to use? PVSketch allows you to create multiple versions of your project. In the top hand left corner, you'll see version 1 listed. Go ahead and click the plus button and save your project. PVSketch will prompt you to either copy system inputs from your current version. This will give you a carbon copy of your existing design, or you can wipe out your existing layout and start over again. This retains your plan information, your site plan information, but allows you to input new equipment preferences. Now from the top left-hand corner, we can toggle between our different versions. Once we're happy with our final layout, we can calculate savings. Go to Savings in the top left-hand menu. PVSketch uses Genability as an API input. Therefore, we can work with as little as 1 month of utility data information. Similarly, based on your address, PVSketch and Genability can tell you what your energy provider options are and your specific rate structures. Because this is a commercial project, we're seeing only commercial rate structures here. If Genability is not available for your area, you can also enter a flat cost per kilowatt hour. Define your energy provider and rate structure for before going solar as well as after going solar. We can also enter system cost as either a cost per watt or a flat lump system cost. Additionally, we have 4 finance options to select from: cash, lease, loan, and PPA, all with slightly different inputs. Finally, PVSketch automatically calculates federal tax incentives. You can additionally enter additional incentives you would like the tool to account for. PVSketch calculates how much of each utility bill you're saving, your savings over time, and total system costs. From here, we can download an Excel sheet that gives you savings for the first 12 months as well as each year for the entire term of the project. We can see here the annual savings for the entire term of the project, as well as the monthly savings for the first year of the project. From here, we can create our proposal. To create a proposal, either select the Create Proposal tool at the bottom of your savings calculations or the Proposal tab from the top left-hand corner. Most of your information should be able to auto-populate from your account information. Anything missing you should fill out. You can additionally upload your own image here. At the bottom, select which proposal pages you'd like to include. The proposal includes an intro page with a message to your customer and first year savings, your final layout, energy use and production information. You can see here where it filled in any missing months, our savings information, some environmental statistics about your project, and a detail sheet with all of your layout specs. This downloads to your computer directly as a PDF. Use the Publish button in the bottom right-hand corner. Once you've sold your design, you may need a permit. PV Complete can provide it. Directly from your design, go to the permit link in the top left-hand corner. Tell us what kind of design work you need and specify any additional information. At the bottom, you can attach any needed files we should know about and submit it directly to our design services team where they'll review it and get back to you with a quote. This is a non-binding submittal. Finally, in the Reports tab, there's a few extra exports that we can use. Finally, in the Reports tab, there's a few other outputs we can use. First, an image of our design. This directly downloads to your computer a JPEG of your layout. We can access a bill of materials, but only for Iron Ridge projects. We can also get our 8760 information with hourly production. This downloads as a standard CSV file. Finally, we can export to PVCAD. Select Export and a link will pop up. Copy the link to import it into PVCAD.